Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my January wrap up. I have really good books that I read this month, so let's hop into the wrap up. So if you didn't watch my video about picking my January TBR, my two best friends actually picked out my TBR. They picked out 3 books each and I read 4 out of 6 and then I started the 5th one and I'll definitely finish it in February. So I feel very good about those stats. Just wanted to say that's where my TBR comes from, but let's talk about the books I actually read this month because I did go off of the TBR just a little bit. Okay, so my stats according to Fable is I read 8 out of 100 books. So I think 8 is pretty good. I think that's ahead of my what I need to read in a month. But anyway, so that's good. And then the next thing is my average rating right now is a 4.8. I will say I think every book that I've read so far has been 5-star except 2 or 4-star. So I've had a really good reading month regarding rating. So that's awesome. So I've read 2 fantasy books, 2 literary fiction books, 1 classic, 1 poetry, and 1 romance. I actually don't know if that's like double counting. And my top author right now is Heather Fawcett. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop into all the books that I read this month. I just want to say I hate the Goodreads update. Like, please just show me, let me see my books that I've read this year, please. Okay, so let's get started. The first book I read this year, this year, but also this month, is Secrets Unmasked by Emerald Slytherin. Yes, guys, this is a fan fiction, and yes, this one destroyed me. I'm pretty sure this one is longer than Manacled. It is by far, or it's easily going to be my top, length book that I read this year. The longest book I've probably ever read. That could be not true, but this book was crazy. It did make me feel a little empty inside, but it was amazing. So I do recommend it if you like Hermione fan fiction. Unfortunately, that is my guilty pleasure. I do love it. And I don't know if it's ever going to stop. So I do recommend this. It's super good, super long, but it's good, I promise. And I rated this one 5 stars. I did rate it 5 stars. We had a few days of snow, and so the first book that I read off of my TBR that my friends gave me was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I rated this 5 stars, guys. It was amazing. It was the perfect book for what I was reading, very atmospheric, and I just thought it was so good, and I immediately hopped into the second one, which is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, and this one was also 5 stars. I'm so excited because the 3rd book comes out this month, and I am going to be reading that as soon as I can get my hands on it because these books are amazing. And I did describe them to Ashley and Major as a Hermione-esque type of relationship. The 2 characters in that really reminded me of Draco and Hermione, which this video is just going to be me talking about Draco and Hermione, but I promise it is so good. You need to read it. This is another book that my friends told me to read, I guess, picked for me. I think Ashley picked this one, and that is Writers and Lovers from Lily King. And this is also one of my friend Sina's favorite books. Sina, if you're watching this, hi. It was amazing. I rated it 5 stars. The quotes in this are insane. I kind of read it physically and also listened to it. Times when I was listening to it and I was like, let me grab my book. I need to see this in a physical paper and make a note of it. But this was so good. I cannot believe this has been on my TBR for, oh my gosh, it's been on my TBR for over 3 years. This has been on my TBR for so long, and I'm so glad I finally read it. I can't believe it took me this long. For this one, TikTok was right. Book Talk was right. I love this. It was amazing. It is literary fiction. It's about a writer. Writers and Lovers. Anyway, I did really love this. If you're looking for a literary fiction novel to add, this one, do it. Next book, I'm not sure what made me pick this up, but I bought this, or London bought it for me for a Christmas gift, and that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I know this was getting popular a few months ago, so I think I just really wanted a good fantasy romance, romantasy. And when I saw this on my shelf, I was like, I know this is going to be quick because it sounds like everything I'm going to love, because it's compared to Caraval and it's compared to something else, but I can't remember now. But it's a game, has demons, it has a phantom, guys, it's so good. I loved it. I'm pretty sure it's a series. At least this says book 1, and I remember from Goodreads, I think another book is coming out later this year. So I will be continuing this because I loved it. I loved Ophelia. I have seen some like discourse about the ending, about how it felt pretty rushed and it didn't really make sense. And I do think to a certain degree, I agree with that, but it wasn't like not that big of a deal to where like it took down my rating or my enjoyment of the novel. And so I did really love this. I did get the hype personally, and yeah, I liked it. I didn't realize I would like something like this, but I did. And then after Secrets and Masks, I said I wasn't going to read another Hermione fanfiction, and I did. I read Remain Nameless by Hey Jude 19, and guys, this is one of my favorites. All of them are really good. All the ones I've read have been like 4 stars or above. I rated this one 4 stars. It's very sweet. It's very character development. You're following their day-to-day lives. There's no real conflict except them getting over like their feelings towards each other pre-war. This one's really interesting, but I thought it was really sweet. And it was less toxic than some of the fan fictions that I read. Like, you actually see character growth, or you see them wanting to grow. So I thought that was really good, and I would recommend it. I also just realized when I was talking about Emily Wilde's encyclopedia, I didn't pick up my copy. And so that means I had to put pictures on the screen when I literally could have picked it up. But anyway, I am on a book buying ban, so I'm waiting to purchase the rest of this. But this copy, I've said this before, but I got this at Shakespeare and Company, and it's just a prized possession of mine. And I think this cover is so pretty, and I'm like, I have to get the rest of the series in this edition. But anyway, sorry for not showing that. It's amazing. Okay, moving on, we have 2 books left, and both of them were on the TBR, so I'm pretty proud of it. The first one is One Day by David Nicholas. This is Major's like one of her favorite books. She loved the show. She got me to watch the show like a year ago, I'm pretty sure. I think it came out in February of last year. So I felt like, why not? Just like a perfect time to read it. And I have been wanting to read this, so yeah, this is a literary fiction novel, romance maybe, but it truly just depicts 2 people's lives who are connected over the course of 20 years. And I will just say, I'm sure everyone knows what One Day is and knows like the plot of it and what to expect. But by the end of the novel, even though I had already watched the show, I felt gutted. I felt awful in a good way. The writing was beautiful. And yeah, it is really good. Like, I can understand why it was adapted not only into a movie, but into a Netflix TV series, because this is like, it's just so good. Like, oh, guys, you need to read it. You need to read it. You need to read it and tell me what you think, because I want to know what you think of like the last like quarter of the book. But I will say the characters will frustrate you, but I just feel like that makes them like, that's like what normalizes them, because everybody frustrates everybody. I don't know if that's correct. Like, you know, it just feels very real. Like, what they talk about, what they deal with, what they do is very relatable for some people in some situations. So anyway, that's enough of a rant on this one. Let's talk about my last book, which is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This was also picked by Ashley Major. Like I said, I think 4 of these books, yeah, four books were picked from them. And this one was really good. I rated it 4 stars. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I love Sylvia Plath's poetry, specifically the collection called Ariel. I think it's amazing. I think she's a really, like, she's well known, so I don't want to say underrated, but her poetry is just so amazing and beautiful, and I think she depicts personalities, like specifically women with mental health issues. She depicts them really raw and real because of course she was very connected to those 2 topics. And this is a fiction novel, but I've heard that it's pretty autobiographical. It's pretty close or similar to what Sylvia experienced in her own right or in her own life. But Yeah, I do want to just like disclaim or give a disclaimer that there are some problematic homophobic and racist comments are made within this book, and like not discrediting that, it was written in, or it's set in the 50s. I think it was written in the 50s. So like it correlates that those beliefs that she had would be kind of mainstream, but I don't want to, like, that doesn't make it okay. And I think that people should probably be told before going into this book, because I had no idea, and then I definitely saw those themes. But overall, the writing was really, really beautiful, and I just, yeah, she was just amazing. And yeah, that's the last book. Standing today, I'm not really sure why, but hopefully I wasn't moving around too much. I know I was a little bit, but I think I was feeling antsy. So anyway, wrapping up me talking about all the books I read this month. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you read this month. I'm very interested. Don't tell me to buy anything because I need to read the stuff on my physical TBR, but you can still do it, and I'll add it to my wish list. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you guys very soon in the next video. And yeah, have a wonderful day and see you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye guys.